Welcome to the deep dive. We're pulling back the curtain today on the really fast-moving world of global TV, film, and media.
Yeah, it never stops, does it?
Never. And this week, the stack of news we've got is, well, it's pretty rich. Everything from a really compelling new drama, some tricky film funding issues,
That's a hot topic.
to how TV commissioning is changing, plus some pretty big industry deals.
A lot to cover then.
Definitely. So our mission today, as always, is pretty straightforward. Cut through all this information, pull out the really interesting bits, the significant developments.
And give you the context, yeah. Understand why it actually matters.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So where should we jump in first with all this?
Well, the sheer variety here, it really does highlight how much flux the industry is in, doesn't it?
It really does.
We're seeing shifts not just in, what's being made, but how it's funded, how success is even measured,
Right.
and the actual structure of the businesses making it all happen. It's constant change.
Absolutely. And maybe starting with the content side, there's one new project that really caught my eye.
Aye.
Jack Wright,
Yeah, from Chris Lang.
the creator of Unforgotten. Yeah. It sounds like a classic setup, Wealthy patriarch dies,
Mm-hmm.
and the wheel just unleashes chaos. Secrets, family drama.
The perfect storm, you can picture it, right? Grand country house, relatives eyeing each other up.
Totally. And then bam, the will reading. Unexpected.
That kind of premise, exploring family dynamics under pressure, high stakes. It just works, doesn't it? Audiences love it.
And the cast looks strong, too.
Yeah, I saw that. Trevor Eve, John Sim.
Daniel Rigby, Nikki Mukaber, Gemma Jones, Ruby Ashbourne Circus.
Wow, okay. That's some serious talent. So
Yeah.
it's got potential, especially being on You and Alibi and their streamer, You.
UK TV drama, yeah.
Yeah.
That focus on family turmoil. It's relatable, even in that kind of, wealthy setting.
Definitely. Okay, so pivoting a bit to the money side, some less positive news out of Hawaii, unfortunately.
Yeah, that film bill.
Right. They were trying to boost the local industry, weren't they? Expand tax credits, push for local hires.
Seemed like it had good support, too, in the Senate from the industry.
But it's stalled in the House. Political disagreements, is that right?
Yeah, that seems to be the story.
It's tough. You
Yeah.
see this happen, right? Local incentives get caught up in politics or budget fights. Makes it hard for smaller hubs to compete.
And there was that quote from the crew member, Ralph Milani.
Oh, yeah. Expressing heartbreak, wasn't it? About local workers losing out.
Exactly. It just really underlines the human cost, doesn't it? These aren't just abstract policies. They affect real jobs, real opportunities.
For sure. Those incentives are often absolutely vital for regional film industries. It's their lifeblood sometimes.
It shows that whole ecosystem behind the scenes, the
Yeah.
economic reality.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so maybe shifting to something more future-focused. How we even measure success seems to be changing quite dramatically.
The death of the overnight rating. Well, maybe not death, but...
Yeah, maybe a slow decline.
Yeah.
The idea that just counting who tuned in live is,
Yeah.
well, it's not enough anymore.
It really isn't. It raises that big question. How do we understand audiences now? It's so fragmented.
People aren't just watching at 9 p.m. on Channel 3.
Exactly. They're finding shows on TikToks, on YouTube, binging on streamers weeks later sometimes. Overnights miss all of that.
So the focus is shifting to
Yeah.
what? The
Yeah.
whole journey.
Yeah, precisely. How do people even find a show? How long do they stick with it? Where do they drop off? What about catch-up viewing? All that data.
Right. It's moving from just counting heads to really understanding engagement.
Mm-hmm.
And the potential upside sounds pretty big, doesn't it? Making quicker changes, taking smarter risks.
Yeah, and maybe even seeing failure differently. Like, okay, that didn't hit huge numbers, but what did we learn from the data?
But the big question that follows is, how does this change what gets made, what gets greenlit in the first place?
That is the crucial next step, isn't it? If decisions lean too heavily on, say, completion rates or viral potential, well, you might see a bias towards stuff that's easily quantifiable, easily shareable. Does that squeeze out the more nuanced shows, the slow burns?
That's a definite risk. Something that needs time to find its audience might get cut short.
Potentially, yeah. It's
Okay.
a balancing act.
Okay, let's switch gears a bit. Reality TV. Hulu's got a new one coming called Got to Get Out.
Oh, yeah? What's the hook?
Sounds pretty intense.
Yeah.
20 reality stars, gamers, models, all vying for $1 million.
Yeah.
And hosted by Simulu.
Simu Liu. Okay, interesting. So the $1 million, what's the catch?
That's the dilemma. They can escape early with a smaller chunk of guaranteed cash.
Ah, okay.
Or stay in, try to grow the main pot, but risk walking away with nothing if they get eliminated later.
Ooh, that's classic reality tension, isn't it? That risk-reward calculation.
Totally. And they're apparently emphasizing the strategic element. Plus, you've got names like Omarosa, Spencer Pratt, Kim Zolciak-Biermann.
Wow. Okay, so they're bringing in some established reality personalities. That'll definitely get people talking.
Yeah, you can see the potential for social media buzz right there.
For sure. It's all about that strategic gameplay, isn't it?
Seems like it. Now, staying competitive.
Yeah.
It's tough if you're not one of the giants, right?
Right.
We heard from Jenna Santoianni at MRC Television.
Media Rights Capital, yeah. They've had some big hits. Ozark, The Great.
The Terminal List, too. And Poker Face Season 2 coming up.
Right. So how do they do it? How do they compete with the Disneys and Warner Bros?
Her point was focusing on innovative development and partnerships, being nimble, finding those unique opportunities maybe the big guys overlook.
That makes sense. Adaptability is key for an indie studio, and they clearly have a knack for picking winners.
Yeah, their track record's impressive. But Santoianni also raised a point about sharing the wealth, basically.
Ah, about profits from big streaming hits, like Ted, she mentioned.
Exactly. Ensuring that when a show really takes off, the rewards are maybe spread a bit more widely.
That's a big conversation in the industry right now, definitely. Who benefits most when something becomes a phenomenon on a streamer?
It's a fair point. Okay, shifting to some behind-the-scenes drama. Literally, a lawsuit against Paramount.
Oh, what's this about?
It involves Top Gun,
Yeah.
Maverick.
Sure.
Shaun Gray, who's the cousin of screenwriter Eric Singer,
Okay.
is suing. He claims he wrote key scenes but wasn't credited or paid properly, says he was in story meetings, has records.
Wow. That's a serious claim, especially on a film that massive. It touches on those tricky issues of creative contribution, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Who wrote what? How is IP handled in those big collaborative writers' rooms or development processes?
These disputes can get really complex legally, but it highlights how many people can shape a film and why clear agreements are so important.
Definitely need that transparency and fair recognition. Okay, different creative world now. Comedy. Richard Gadd.
Baby Reindeer. Huge buzz around that show.
Right. He's been talking about how there seems to be more space now for comedians in scripted TV.
Interesting. What's his take on why?
He emphasized this growing demand for authentic storytelling, personal narratives, sort of raw, honest stuff.
That makes sense. Baby Reindeer certainly felt like that. Very unique voice.
And he's working with the BBC drama boss, Lindsay Salt, on more projects.
So that could signal a continuing trend then, broadcasters being more open to comedian-led scripted shows.
It feels like those lines between stand-up, performance art, drama, they're blurring a bit, could lead to some really original TV.
Definitely an interesting space to watch.
Now let's go international for a sec. We got some insights from Alon Aranya, Paper Plane Productions.
Ah, Tehran, Your Honor, hostages. They do a lot of those big international co-productions.
Exactly. He's got over 15 years in this, really focused on global content, script development.
So what was his perspective, specifically on, say, a market like Australia thriving globally?
He talked about really focusing on development, how streamers impact things, that balance between local stories versus global appeal.
All crucial points. You need strong local roots, but also that understanding of what travels.
And he really stressed the importance of the writing, the script development phase. Seems passionate about that.
Well, that's the foundation, isn't it? Strong writing travels. It shows you need that sophisticated grasp of both local culture and international tastes to succeed globally.
No doubt. Okay, let's talk about people moving around. Executive musical chairs, seems like.
Always happening. Who's moving where?
Fiona Lang. She was managing director at BBC Studios Australia for a decade.
Right. Oversaw launches like BBC First, BritBox.
Now she's moving to Nielsen as managing director of Television Audience Measurement Australia. TAM Australia.
Oh, interesting. Especially given our chat about measurement changing, moving from content creation to audience analytics.
Yeah, it suggests how vital that accurate measurement piece is becoming, especially in a competitive market like Australia.
Makes sense. What else?
Alex Mahan is stepping down as CEO of Channel 4 after 7 years.
Wow, 7 years. First female chief there, too. That's a significant departure.
Yeah, the interim chair praised her impact during a time of big changes for public service broadcasting. Jonathan Allen is interim CEO for now.
Big shoes to fill. Channel 4 has a unique role navigating that space between public service and commercial pressures.
Definitely. Over in the U.S., Sharon Vong is now officially head of unscripted at NBC Universal. She was interim.
Ah, Ah, okay. So making it permanent. Unscripted is still huge for them, obviously. Talent shows, game shows.
Right. Seems like a move for stability in that division after some restructuring.
Got it.
Oh.
Who else? Back to Australia, Abby Dorian at Cheeky Little, they're an indie producer. She's been promoted to Global Partnerships Executive.
Okay, so focusing on international growth, that really speaks to the ambition of smaller indies trying to scale up, doesn't it?
Yeah, building those global ties seems essential now. And in New Zealand, Abarose Viago Ioesa is now Development and Investment Executive at the NZ Film Commission.
Oh, great. She's an indie producer herself, co-founded Pacific Islands Screen Artists, brings a really valuable perspective, especially for underrepresented voices.
That sounds like a really positive appointment.
Yeah, definitely. And finally, on the exec front, Guy Danella is the new president of film at XYZ Films.
XYZ, they do a lot of interesting genre stuff, right?
Yeah, and his first project sounds dark. It's called The Trip, stars Jason Segel and Samara Weaving
Okay.
as a couple who secretly plan to kill each other on a weekend getaway.
Whoa, okay, yeah, that sounds like it could be a wild ride. Darkly comedic, maybe? Suspenseful?
Think B. Definitely fits that unique, edgy vibe XYZ often goes for.
So lots of movement, lots of new leadership, shaking things up, keeps it dynamic.
For sure. Okay, let's hit some festival and market highlights. Madrid's Platino Awards.
Celebrating Ibero-American film.
Yeah. Big winner was Walter Salles, I'm Still Here. Best director, best fiction film. Lots of wins.
Great to see recognition for films from that region. Sometimes they don't get the global spotlight they deserve.
Absolutely. And speaking of spotlights, Venice Film Festival. Alexander Payne is jury president for the 82nd edition.
Oh, wow. That's a huge honor. A filmmaker of his stature leading the jury. That carries weight.
Definitely. Meanwhile, Hong Kong Film Awards. Big night for Twilight of the Warriors. Walled In.
Sui Ching's film. Yeah, heard about that. Cleaned up, didn't it?
9 awards. Best film, best director. Plus, it was apparently a big hit at the box office there, too.
Nice. Good to see local films connecting so strongly critically and commercially.
Looking ahead, Berlinale 2026 dates are set, and Trisha Tuttle is back as director.
Oh, good. Continuity there. She knows the festival well. And it's such a key market event, too, right? The EFM co-production market.
Yeah, vital hub for the business side.
And Cannes is looming.
Just around the corner. Juliette Binoche is jury president. They've announced the 21 films in competition for the Palme d'Or.
Always exciting. That lineup reveal. Binoche as president is fantastic. And the films. Always a mix of established names and discoveries.
Yeah, a couple of big premieres generating buzz already.
Can't wait. Okay, one more from the circuit. Variety's Entertainment Marketing Summit.
Right. Some interesting takeaways there about, well, how to actually reach audiences now.
What's the shift?
Moving away from just demographics, age, gender, whatever, towards psychographics. Shared values, interests, aspirations.
Ah, understanding the why behind consumer behavior, not just the who.
Yeah.
Makes sense in the digital age.
Yeah, and building more authentic connections. Darren Abbott mentioned connecting with people based on shared values, like aspiring to positive lives, more emotional, targeted stuff.
It's definitely a more sophisticated approach, understanding what really resonates on a deeper level.
Totally. Okay, let's peek at the development slate. What might we be watching down the line?
Always fun. What's cooking?
Joseph Kosinski, Top Gun. Maverick director is doing a Miami Vice movie for Universal.
Miami Vice. Wow, that's some serious nostalgia factor. Kaczynski's visual style could be interesting. Dan Gilroy writing.
Yeah, Nightcrawler writer.
Yeah.
Could be a cool combo.
Potentially, if they find a fresh take.
Francois Ozon is adapting Camus as The Stranger.
Whoa. Okay, that's ambitious. Iconic book. Benjamin Boysen starring.
Yep. Gaumont selling it internationally. Feels like a powerful pairing, Ozon and Camus.
Definitely one to watch. Very curious how he approaches that.
Werner Herzog is directing Bucking Fastard.
Bucking Fastard. Only Herzog. What's the story?
Stars Orlando Bloom, Domhnall Gleeson, Kate, and Rooney Mara. About 2 sisters who share dreams and a lover.
Okay, yep, that sounds very Herzogian. Intense, unusual relationships. What a cast, though.
Intriguing, right? Then there's Brad Pitt teaming up with Edward Berger.
Director of All Quiet on the Western Front, or The Writers, I think it was called in some places.
Right. They're doing an A24 film based on a Tim Winton novel. The Writers, yeah.
Pitt, Berger, Winton, A24.
Yeah.
That's a powerhouse combination. High expectations for that one.
For sure. New Line picked up a sci-fi thriller spec script, Cutouts.
New Line knows genre. Thrillers, horror. If they bought it, it probably has potential. Producers from Barbarian involved, too.
Yeah, adds to the buzz.
Okay.
Greg Berlanti. Is he ever not busy? He's got 3 new projects.
3, go on.
Horror thriller for Amazon, based on a comic. A Hulu project based on a novel. And a family drama in talks with Max.
Wow. Across genres, across platforms, he's just incredibly prolific, isn't he?
Seems like it. Media One has a new unscripted format. That's my chair. Like musical chairs, but
Huh.
competitive.
Huh. Reimagining musical chairs. Could be fun, actually. Add some strategy, maybe celebrity pairs, physical challenges.
Yeah, it feels like they're trying to give it that kind of high-energy TV twist.
Could work. What else?
An adult animated sitcom from Finland called Beelzebubs about a death metal family.
A death metal family. Okay. That sounds niche, but potentially hilarious. Co-production with Italy and Estonia, too.
Yeah, RAI, YLE, TV3.
Mm.
Shows a growing interest in adult animation, maybe with international legs.
Definitely. Dark humor, family stuff.
Yeah.
I find its audience.
It's amazing, just the sheer volume and variety of what's in development globally.
It really is. So let's talk deals and acquisitions then. What's been changing hands?
SBS in Australia bought a Finnish supernatural thriller, Icebreaker. Seems like it's selling well elsewhere, too.
Ah, more evidence of that global appetite for non-English language shows, especially genre stuff like supernatural thrillers. They travel well.
Definite. Sundance Institute announced its 2025 lab participants, directors, screenwriters, native labs.
Always crucial programs for fostering new talent. Solana Wilson and Kawanahir Devry Jacobs are involved this year.
Yeah, as mentors or advisors, I think.
Yeah.
Great to have people like that supporting emerging filmmakers.
Absolutely. Those labs are so important.
Then there's a new company, Chihu, Hollywood and Silicon Valley folks, launching an AI platform for animation.
AI in animation. Okay, that's a big one. Potentially streamlining things, lowering barriers.
That seems to be the pitch. Empowering artists, keeping creative control, but using AI for some parts of the process.
Interesting. The adoption and reaction from the animation community will be key to watch there.
For sure. Vice Media bought Cuba Pictures, UK drama producer.
Cuba Pictures, McMafia, Jonathan Strange, and Mr. Norrell. They have a really strong reputation. That's a significant move for Vice, boosting their scripted side.
Definitely adds weight to their Vice Studios arm.
Okay, what else is big?
Potentially very big. Banijay is reportedly in early talks to maybe acquire ITV or ITV Studios.
Whoa, okay. Yeah, that would be massive. Huge consolidation. Banijay buying ITV. That would reshape the global landscape significantly.
Early days, but definitely one to keep an eye on. Financial hurdles, regulatory stuff, it would be complex.
Hugely complex, right?
Liz Gately, Laguna Beach creator, she's launched her own company, Damsel Media, focusing on Gen Z women.
Smart move, very specific target audience. She obviously knows how to create content that resonates with younger viewers.
Seems like a good niche to carve out.
Yeah.
The Studios Globo in Brazil is ramping up development for kids and young adults. Original content.
Makes sense. Big player in Latin America, recognizing the need to really cater to those younger demos across platforms, build that loyalty early.
Right. And Disney picked up the Latin American adaptation of Mad About You for Disney Plus Gear and Lo que siento contigo.
Ah, adapting a known format for the local market. Common strategy for streamers building their regional libraries. Be interesting to see how it does.
Yeah. Pité is launching sales at Cannes for a Guillaume Canet psychological thriller starring Marion Cotillard.
Ooh, Canet directing Cotillard in a psych thriller. That'll be a hot ticket at the market for sure. High profile.
Definitely. Hassan Hadi's first film, The President's Cake, set in 90s Iraq, is going to Cannes Directors Fortnight.
Oh, fantastic. Great platform for a debut feature, especially one telling that kind of culturally significant story.
Yeah, really good showcase. And lastly, on deals, View Lumiere got UK Ireland rights for The Thing with Feathers. Benedict Cumberbatch stars.
Based on the Max Porter novel. Yeah, heard good things about that one from festivals. Cumberbatch. Solid acquisition for them.
Seems like it. Okay, so that's the deal landscape. Just one renewal popped up on our radar.
Oh, yeah. What got the nod?
BET Plus renewed Diera from Detroit for season 2.
Ah, good for them. Must have found its audience. Diera Kilpatrick, creator and star. Sounds
Jenna.
like her unique voice really connected.
Yeah, they mentioned her wild, very Detroit adventure continuing. Fans will be happy.
Good stuff.
So, wrapping this up, bringing this deep dive to a close, what are the big takeaways? Several themes kind of emerged, didn't they?
Yeah, definitely. That constant push for innovation and storytelling.
Right, how stories are told, and that fundamental shift in measuring audience engagement we talked about.
Plus, you see these realignments of power exec moves, those big potential acquisitions.
And underpinning it all, That relentless search for the next compelling thing, the content that actually cuts through the noise.
Which is harder than ever.
No kidding. So look, this is a curated snapshot, obviously, just pulling out some highlights. But hopefully it gives you some useful context on what's significant right now.
Yeah, connect some dots, maybe.
And maybe leaves you with a final thought to chew on. Considering everything we've discussed, the data, the focus on authenticity, diverse voices, the global flow, the tech,
AI.
what kind of content do you think will really break through in the next few years? And how much will technology shape not just how stories are made, but how we find them, how we share them?
That's the big question, isn't it? Something to ponder.
Definitely something to think about until our next deep dive.